Welcome to another episode of The Professor and the Princess. We're your hosts, the divine Randy.
Divine.
She is, because you are, darling.
Okay.
Everything. She said, stop feeding Henri,
right.
buttering the bread. And I'm Henri. So we like to get together and talk about what it really means to be human in a world that's ever changing. It just continues to evolve. So culture, tech, identity, emotions, we talk about it all. And we take deep dives into love and struggle and growth, and also how to stay grounded. Because, again, the world is ever changing. So how do we do that? So all we really want to do, this is such bullshit, but what we want to do is we want to decode cultural change. And when I say bullshit, because I said all we want to do a lot of things, but what we really want to do here is to decode cultural change, right? In this episode, we are talking about, listen, swipe right, swipe left, swipe down, swipe-a-roo, about love in the age of this glorious algorithm.
Yikes.
Exactly. How many have you swiped right or swiped left?
I don't know. At this point, it's probably in the thousands.
Yeah. I just tell you, ask my index finger.
Yeah,
He can tell you better. So look, Dan Slater, we're going to start with some research, right?
Sure.
So Dan Slater in A Million First Dates, Solving the Puzzle of Online Dating wrote, in 2011, Mark Brooks, a consultant to online dating companies, published the results of an industry survey titled, How has internet dating changed society? And the survey responses from 39 executives produced the following conclusion. So here's some beats. 1, internet dating has made people more disposable.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I feel like we need sound effects. Dun, dun, dun.
It's true, though. Keep going.
Right? So the second point here is that low quality, unhappy, and unsatisfying marriages are being destroyed as people drift to internet dating sites. So now I have to worry about him looking at other people in the street and being on sites trying to find somebody else? God
I don't think you have to worry about it at all, because if you do, it's not the right person for you.
I can swipe him left. Everything to me. I like it. See where our world is going?
Yeah.
And the last point here that I think was really cool from Dan is the market is hugely more efficient, right? Mm-hmm. He said people expect to, and this will be increasingly the case over time, they will be able to access people anywhere, anytime, based on complex search requests, which is true. You want them heavy set, you want them skinny, you want them tall, you want them short, you can have it all. It's a warehouse. So such a feeling, I'm going to go on to what Dan said here. Such a feeling of access affects our pursuit of love, right? Because it's on to the next. You don't even have time to love because it's about, the aesthetics. So the whole world versus, say, the city we live in will increasingly feel like the market for our partners. So the market is like the world around us, right? So our pickiness will continue to increase. That's what Dan said.
Oh, hell yeah.
I went all that because this is some good stuff, right?
Hell yeah.
But I mean, let's take a deeper dive, Randy.
For me, I got to the point where I felt like I was just like on the DSW website shopping for shoes.
So you're saying
I like that
minimalist
color. I like that style. I like that size.
God. Yeah.
Left.
Gosh.
Oh, that one's cute, right? Left. You could continue to spend the rest of your life swiping. And never find somebody that's going to have all the requirements you have. And we talked about this today. Like, nobody is going to be the ideal partner, right?
Yeah.
So if you have 80% of what you want, you're winning. But now this gives us the illusion we can have the 100% because we're tailor making our partner. It's like you said, I want him to be at least 6 feet tall. I want him to have blue eyes. I want him to be an engineer. I want him to have X number, a PhD or whatever the requirements I have. I want him to be politically moderate and blah, 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 right? And until I find that exact algorithm or that particular individual, I'll just keep going left. And it's like an endless pursuit for perfection. It does not exist.
Yeah.
So then what do we do about it?
So the thing is, I've been against online dating forever, right? Because I'm critical about these things because I believe in human connection. And I'm a bit old fashioned, right? I want to meet you and figure out what's happening. However, time has changed, especially since I moved to Los Angeles, because I was trying to build community and find folks. So my use of a dating site was really about, it was about other reasons that you use a dating site, but also about building community and finding
meeting
people, right? So it's a norm to me now just to kind of go through and what I like to call build a bear, build a man, because it's kind of that moment. But I like what you said about the shoes because the thing that comes to mind immediately about me is a catfishing, because I found that too, right? A person will post a picture of the used goods, because we're all used kids. We
right.
have experience.
Right.
And then it comes to the door and it's like, actually, you had that you were a pair of Louboutin shoes, because I'm using your analogy because it's so
Right.
good, but you're actually Payless with painted red bottoms.
Payless.
Remember Payless? You kids might not know about that, but maybe
No.
rainbow shoes,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
But you painted those bottoms red, and that's a fucking problem.
Right.
Like, that's the thing that gets in the way. But I do
Well-
love the fact that I get to pick and choose, right?
Right, that people put on filters, like you said. There's catfish, there's scammers, I've met guys who had a picture that was probably 15 years ago,
Which is
and
like,
then they
dude,
show up, and you're like, "Are you that guy's dad?"
they-
You know?
See, Randy likes to insult the shoes. I love it.
I don't actually say that, but I'm thinking, something is not right here.
And then my question, because I am curious about things and I get my Oprah Winfrey on,
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you put that picture up
Right.
15 years ago?
Right.
Like, what is that how you feel or you think you look? Because let me take you to the mirror before I kick you out of my
Right.
house. It's kind of one of those.
you would say that.
You girl, you know.
I
Like,
wouldn't say that, but you would.
you know me. It's like out
You'd
of
be
control.
like, look in the mirror, now go.
Exactly. Is that the same person in the
Yeah.
photo? But that's the thing, too, that makes it very challenging. However, on the other side, the convenience of it all is everything. I don't
Yes.
have to get dressed up and put on a cologne and shave and all that stuff to go out to sit at a bar to, try to find a
Right.
man. I can just swipe and Frankenstein him up. So it's a whole thing that's
Yes.
kind of interesting in a way, too.
Yes, but I do think it has, one of the points you made, it really has turned it into more of a business than an emotional endeavor.
So much.
And there is something, and I'm not saying this because I think the rom-com has also destroyed us.
Mm-hmm.
Two people knock into each other in an airport and they look at each other and they fall in love. Like, that doesn't happen either.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it does 1 in 100 million times, right? So we're all looking for that instant human in-person connection that very rarely happens.
Yeah.
And when we don't have that, then we resort to the apps. But to me, it's more practical. I remember I was dating somebody a couple years ago, and he said, "Isn't it so weird that we're hanging out and we're talking and we're, developing a relationship just because of a piece of technology?" And I said, I think it's really cool because you and I would never have met in real life. And if we were both at the supermarket squeezing cantaloupes,
That's what you do, Randy?
I'm just saying.
But that's a way to find a man.
well, that's people
Go to the
used
market,
to say that, right?
squeeze a
And look for a guy who's looks like he's lost with the produce.
Yes.
That would you could have been standing next to me,
Look at that.
and we would never have looked at one another. Let alone here we are now hanging out, dating, whatever. So to me, yes, I see what you're saying. It's very artificial on one level, but it brings people together
does.
who never would have had an opportunity to meet in the real world. So I think there is a benefit to it, knowing that when you go into it, there is a certain amount of artifice, right? There are liars, there are people cheating on their spouse, there are catfishers, I've had guys ask me for money before we ever met for their cryptocurrency thing. Like,
Isn't that so crazy?
there are people out there
business.
who are doing this to take advantage of people. But if you're smart and you're savvy and you do a little due diligence, you can weed through those pretty easily.
Exactly. I remember I was on a dating app and a guy wrote me back. He was engaging to go out on a date. And then he brought up the cryptocurrency situation. And I said, I'm not here for crypto. I'm
Right.
here for beep. So it's kind of a
Right.
moment of just
Right.
making sure that you're clear about the things that you're asking for. But also, the guy I'm currently talking to, we met on a dating site too, right? And
Same.
it's kind of, and you've been with your guy for some time now, so
Yeah.
it's a lasting experience. It can be a lasting experience because
Yeah.
you have to do the human work once you get in.
And we went to high school together.
Oh, look at that! And didn't know each other when you were in high school, right?
Well, he was much older than me. He was 3 years older.
Okay.
So he was a senior, I was a freshman, and we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And we met
See?
on an app, and we probably never would have come into each other's lives, even though we live in the same town and we're both single, because we just didn't have the same circle.
Yeah.
But the app showed that we were, a few miles apart, and so it brought up, it just gave us the opportunity to meet.
Yeah. And then all the information that you guys had as far as going to the same high school, et cetera, like you bring all that stuff together once you make that human connection.
Right.
But in a world, we were talking about this with technology being like a god and keeping people kind of in their tech
Right.
versus making that physical connection with people or the, human connection with folks in that way. It also allows for that connection to happen if you're on either coast, right? And it's so funny because the guy I'm talking to now, he'll often bring up, oh my God, we were on that app for a date and possibly a fun adult night. And here we are like, kind of sort of inseparable. I mean, we talk too much on the phone, but it's good enough, right? But it's that kind of moment because that's the kind of magic that can happen once you get in and do your part. Like tech does its part of connecting the dots,
Right.
and it's our job to nurture the relationship
Right.
and build it.
And I think the important thing, excuse me, is to humanize the experience.
Bring it on.
Well,
Tell us more.
you meet through technology, but you don't have to keep it
Yeah.
like a business. Like you let it grow into a human experience.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, because even first dates feel very transactional to me.
They so are.
I want to sit across from you. I want to look at you. I want to feel your vibe. I want to ask you questions. It's like a job interview, right?
Uh-huh.
And then, if you make it past the first one, then it's like, well, now we'll just do something more fun. We'll go do an activity or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes two humans to have a relationship, not machines.
Right. And that's what
Yeah.
happens. I mean, the machines would really be nothing if we weren't actually
Right. They're just a
interacting.
tool. They're just a tool.
We need to look at it that way because I think
Right.
that people do become very afraid of the technology in that sense. I think another thing that comes up, it is another problem that comes up when it comes down to the online dating for me is the option that I think, Dan Slater talked about this too, is that, you have a disagreement with your partner, you have and you can just go to the app and start looking,
I'll look
right?
for a new one.
But the thing, right, exactly. So just having that mindset. However, we could do that without technology. I mean, how many men, women had arguments or disagreements with their partner, right? Kind of thought they were moving on. You go for a walk and you run into somebody else on the street. It's kind of that. It's just this whole idea you're not going outside. You're just going in the bedroom or the bathroom.
It's just more accessible.
Yeah, and that accessibility, like anything, right, that you get more of, has a dark side. And I think you say that quite often, Randy, about things having good things can have a very dark side.
I also think dating apps can be addictive. I know
I was
people
addicted.
who are in relationships
Ooh.
and continue to just look because it's part of their daily routine. They were so into just looking, like window shopping. And they'll probably
that
never
okay?
swipe right, but they'll just keep looking.
Because they would be doing that anyway if they didn't have, right? Because you could be in a car with your partner without this dating app and in a marriage, and looking. And people say, what's that old saying? I'm not dead. You know what I mean?
Right, but that's, to me, is that cheating or is that, what's the line? Because I think if you're looking and you're swiping right, or even you shouldn't be looking if you're in a committed relationship.
I think there should be rules too that you
Yeah.
pull away from it, right? Because that's the other thing too. Like guys, women, whatever the case may be, when that you're in a relationship and your partner's looking, you may ask a question like, "Is that something that you want?" Right?
Are you looking to get a better pair of shoes?
Listen, okay?
Right.
Well, you'll never have a better pair of shoes than me, honey. But you might be looking for a new pair.
Right.
Right. No, let me stop. Don't agree to that, Randy. I'm so
younger
ridiculous.
pair.
Exactly. Yeah, fresh. But it's a moment which just tickles me so. But it becomes that whole idea of can we just kind of lean into if things are going wrong, the accessibility is available for us to. That's kind of scary, I think.
And I think
a wee
I
bit.
think it makes people less, just like when divorce became a thing.
Yeah.
It makes people try less.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
but there is, I don't know, to me it's a little questionable at what point it just becomes a habit, like
Right.
any other habit. Like I look at it like an addiction, whether it's video games or
Mm-hmm.
gambling or whatever. I know people who go on the apps every day, even if they're not, even if they're in a committed relationship. It's just part of their daily
Something to do.
experience, something to do. It's like
Exactly.
playing a video game.
Yeah.
Or Wordle. It's like, no, it's not quite the same as Wordle, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And it draws a lot of insecurities too, right? Because it is so accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And as Dan talked about here, about people being more disposable,
Yes.
which is a very, very interesting thing. Yeah, but the thing is about it is that, it's a part of our culture now and there's a lot of positive in it because people are looking to make those connections. So you don't have to be in a situation where you're labeled as sliding into DMs, right? Because
Right.
that's so sneaky and creepy in a way, but
Right.
it's actually a business interaction
Right.
now, that there are places that we can find folks. It's just the responsibility is always the thing. It's like, how are we being socially responsible and respectful of relationships in other humans when we do actually want a long-term relationship, or, that we're respecting the fact that the dating site is to get us there. Like, it's a ship to get you to the island, and now like live and respect and build the relationship that you want to build. What's cooking over there? Some cooking in your eyes?
No, I was just thinking about, it's just so strange. I need to stop for a second.
Why? This might be juicy.
No, I had this really good nugget in my brain.
Yeah.
And it just, my senior brain just lost it.
I think you were swiping.
I was not swiping.
You were swiping your
but I
eye.
was thinking about something about that whole experience. And I was like, oh, what about this? And then I was like, oh, what was it again?
Exactly. How about that? Well, if it comes, we'll do another episode on it, or we'll do like a snapshot. Why not? Because I want to know how it's going. Like, the lifestyle of dating someone after you've picked them up off the DSW online dating apps. You know what I mean? But the thing, I'm going to leave you with this, right? Is that I'm nervous that we're going to start walking up to people and trying to swipe them. Like, actually. Like, can you imagine just going up to somebody and just, get out of my way?
Right.
Maybe we've been doing it. So can we really swipe people in real life?
We've been doing it figuratively.
Exactly. So now we can actually physically go up to somebody and just swipe them out of the way.
I don't know if they would like that, though.
I'm sure they would. I wouldn't like to be swiped. Well, maybe in the right direction.
Yes.
Randy, I'm leaving. That's it. I can't. I have no more for you about this love. But I'm proud that we have tools to help people connect, because I'm all about people connecting. It's just like anything else. Like, don't abuse it. And don't abuse people.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking about, is remembering that these are other humans that you're dealing with, and that they too have feelings, and you don't want to do something to somebody that you wouldn't want them to have done to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so kindergarten-y, but it's true.
The basics.
Like, treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I think I was thinking about, a couple of friends of mine who got into relationships with men they met on the apps, only to find out months and months later that they were married. And not like I'm living with my wife and we're getting divorced, but like fully married and just having this other life. It's like, that's okay if that's what you want to do. But I think you owe it to that person to at least be honest about it from the very beginning and say, is this something you're cool with? Or, and I do notice now, or not now, but when I was on last, there's a lot of people putting that up there, ethical non-monogamy.
Yeah.
So that they're telling you, this is something that my partner and I are on board with, whether that's true or not. But at least if you're going to swipe right on that person, you know what you're dealing with, as opposed to being duped. And that's what I think a lot of people have to understand. There's going to be a certain percentage of people online who are not who they say they are. Are you willing to weed through those ugly shoes to get to the good ones?
Get into it. And then when you get to the shoes, you do an evaluation. I was going to pull away from the mic just now, but you struck something for me, and I know we need to wrap the episode. But also, it's up to us. The responsibility piece that I was talking about earlier, it's also up to us to ask those questions. Like, I'll ask a guy, or have in the past, like, are you in a relationship? All the things, right? And I'll go deeper into when was your last. I ask all the questions because I just don't want any bullshit, right? I just have no time for that. And then also, I had a guy one time, this is going to be hilarious, or maybe not, is he told me that he and his partner lived together, but they were separate. They were separated.
Right.
And I said to him, call him now. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, well, we can't go further. And
right.
So he called him, and we were asking a question. I was asking him the questions, like, are you guys still together? He's on a date, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, yeah, we are. And I said, I had to make sure. The young man said to me, he said, oh, I need to level up. I need to pose those questions because I've been fucked so much, and not in that way, in a bad way, by folks because I didn't ask those questions. I'm like, your integrity needs to be a big part of this experience because shit, people are catfishing and lying all over the place. So yeah, I think it's important. It's a process. It's always been a process. It's just we added.
But like everything else, there's the good side and the not so good side.
Listen.
And if you want a relationship and you're not meeting people in the world squeezing cantaloupes, then this might be the way to do it, and just be smart about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I always had a rule, like if I was going on a first date, I would tell 3 people where I was going to be. They had my location. So I always met people in a public place. Like I do all the things to keep myself safe, right? Those are the things you do to make sure that you're going to create the best possible outcome, whether there's a connection or not, that you're safe, you're smart, you're doing any research you need to do, making sure the person's legit, right?
Yeah, you've inspired me so much. I think when I get back to Los Angeles, my guy and I are going to go to the market. I'm just going to have him squeezing cantaloupes, and we'll reenact this whole moment so we don't forget where, technology started. Squeeze a cantaloupe and let me see if he can.
Well, if you guys are actually going to do that, and I hope that you do, I expect photos.
And I'm giving you full credit. I didn't know anything about this cantaloupe situation until we talked.
Oh, it's such a scam.
But you see what happened. Like, we started at the dating apps, and we're like, don't forget to squeeze the cantaloupe. It's like a whole thing.
Well, I don't think men squeeze cantaloupes. I don't think gay men squeeze cantaloupes. I think it's a straight man thing. But
I'm going to ask. We'll do a poll. Stop. Randy, I'm leaving for real now.
Yeah, I think this episode has just gotten us so slap happy that we're saying crazy stuff. Exactly. So I think it is time to end.
Or this is it. We can start it. I promise I'm leaving now. Or we can start a dating app and call it Cantaloupe. Or
Cantaloupe without a ladder.
Come on. There it is.
Cantaloupe without a ladder.
Look at you.
Right?
Bravo.
See?
I'm so impressed. Randy, we got to go.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Well, thank you for tuning in for our craziness. And remember, it is not about having the answers clearly. It's about asking the questions. And we are doing that. Until next time, keep watching the world with your eyes wide open. Au revoir.
Au revoir.